Okay, so let's learn how we can get the perimeter of plane shapes. So let's consider the first question there. You see that these two rectangles merged together, right? So maybe the first thing we might want to do is to separate the two shapes clearly, using dashed lines, all right? So remember, perimeter is distance measured around the shape. So I always like to suggest that you identify a point, which we call our starting point. So let's call this point A. So we're going to from point A, go around this shape, taking down the distances. So our perimeter would be, so from that point A to this point, you see 7 cm. So you record that, plus from this point to this point is what, 9 cm. You record that. From that point to this point is what, 3 cm. So we record that. Now from 3 cm to this point, I'm on this line now. See that now? So you see, it was the dimension was not given, so we need to find that by ourselves. What do? Recall that if this point is 3, since it's a rectangle, if I let me call this rectangle A and rectangle B. So considering rectangle A, you see that is, since it's a rectangle, opposite sides are going to be equal, so this side is going to be 3 cm. I think that is a clear fact. Now considering rectangle B, now if here is 9, the other side should also be 9, but then since it was divided, so it should be what, 9 minus 3, right, to complete it. So you see that this side that is unknown is definitely 6 cm, because this 3 cm plus this 6 cm will also give you the 9 cm here. So that's how you must learn how to calculate the size that was not given, to complete your perimeter. So we're going to add 6 cm. Then from this point to this point was not also given. You see that now? So let's consider rectangle A again. Rectangle A, if this side is 7 cm, definitely this side is also going to be what? 7 cm. Alright? Or rather, sorry for that. That's not 7 cm. Let me show you something. So, this is the total distance from this point to what? To this point. While this is the distance from this point to this point. So, if the total distance here is 7 and the total distance here is 3, you know that to get this side will be 7 minus 3, right? Because whatever we get here, which is 7 minus 3 is 4. So totally, if you add the whole distance here, 4 plus 3, you still have what? 7. So you must learn how to add and subtract, as the case may be, to get the perimeter of compound shapes. So that's how we have that point as 4 cm. I hope everything is still clear up to this point. So we have plus 4. So when we have that place at 4 cm, we now, you see, from our last point now is from this point back to A, which is what? 3 cm. So plus 3 cm. So that will be our answer. So the perimeter would be 7 plus 9, which is 16. 16 plus 3, 19. 19 plus 6, that should be 25. 25 plus 4, 29. 29 plus 3 is what? 32 cm. So the perimeter of that shape in question number A is 32 centimeters. So let's consider the second shape. You see that this is a triangle that is meshed together with a semicircle. So we can call this shape A and shape B. So remember, to get the perimeter, we just identify the point we're starting our measurement from. So let's call this point. All right, let's start from that point. So from this point to this point, you see that it's clearly given to us as what? 5 meter plus. Now from this point, you see, going around again is a curve. Now I want you to take note of something. This 14 meter is not on the external part of this shape. When we're talking about perimeter, we are talking about the distance measured externally around the shape. So these internal dimensions are not going to be added in the perimeter. Please take note of that. So this 14 is not going to be added because it's internal. We're measuring the distance externally now around the shape. So externally, after 5, we have to go around this curve. Now, how can we get the distance around this curve? Since it's semicircle, we can get the circumference of the semicircle. So you see the function of that 14 meter there is to serve as the diameter. That is the diameter of this semicircle. So recall that circumference of semicircle, when you're given diameter, is simply half pi d, since the circumference of a circle is pi d. So the distance around this curve, which is the semicircle, would be half 22/7. Remember, for pi, and diameter is what? 14. So 7 here is 1. 7 into 14 will be 2. And see, 2 can cancel that 2. So that means the distance around this is 22 meter. So we add it. We have 22 meter plus. Now after the curve, we go back to where we're starting from, which is 5 meter. So we have plus 5 meter. So final our perimeter be 5 plus 5 is 10. That's 32 meter. So what I want you to draw attention to is that we don't add the internal dimensions. Perimeter is the external dimensions, right? The distance measured externally round a shape. So please don't be tempted to add the dimensions inside. Okay, let's go over to the next question. So now see this question number C. It's always advisable to try to divide this shape, so it will help you to get the unknown parts that were not specified. But that wouldn't be necessary anyway, but just to make things clear. So let's just, you see that these kind of 3 rectangles. So we have rectangle A, B, and C. So again, we're going to specify where we are starting, the starting point. It's always good to know your starting point, so it will guide your operation. So this point, this red point here should be my starting point. So the perimeter of this shape will be from that point to this point is what? 18 meter. Plus from that point to this point is what? 4 meter. We go down to what? 6 meter. From 6 to this point, you see it was clearly given as 9, right? So we're going to add what? Our 9 meter. Plus from 9 we go up again. You see we have 3 meter there. Plus from 3 we go again. We see we have plus 2 meter. From 2 we go down and down. We have 5 meter. And then from 5 meters straight to where we're coming from is what? 15 meter. So hopefully, or thankfully rather, we don't have to derive, or rather get any unknown parts, since every part was specified. So the perimeter will be adding everything. So 4 plus 6 is 10. 10 plus 18 is 28. 28 plus 3 is 31, right? Yeah, 31. 31 plus 9 is 40. 40 plus 2 is 47. Plus 5. 40 plus 6 is 42. Plus 5, 47. And then 47 plus 10 is 57. 57 plus 5 is 62. So we have 62 meters as our answer. Please, the most important part of this problem is to get the distance around the shape. The addition part is not a challenge. Now for the last one, which is the perimeter of the shape. Now again, let's try to separate the shapes clearly. Going to use dashed lines. Alright, dashed line shows that this line you're putting is not part of the original question. Alright, you're just trying to make things clear to you. So although my line is very bad, but regardless. So we call this A and B. Of course, again, see that's a semicircle, since it's half a circle, and then we have a rectangle. So the perimeter are going to mark our points, right? Let's say we're starting from this point. So from this point to this point is what? 2 meter. So we have our 2 meter plus. The next point is this curve, all right? So we are along the curve now. But then how can we get the distance of that curve? Again, you see that it's a semicircle. So we get the circumference of a semicircle. But now we are not even given the diameter. So that means we have to get that ourselves, right? So you see that the whole of this line is what? 18 meter. That means the other parts, all right, because this is the other part that makes this rectangle, it should also be 18. However, this side is 2 and this side is 2. That means the remaining part should be 2 plus 2 is 4. So we should do 18 minus 4 to get this dashed line in red color. and that will be the diameter of the semicircle. So 18 minus 4 is what? That's 16 and then 12. So we have 12. Is that 12 or 14 rather? Sorry. That should be 14. 18 minus 4 is 14. So we have the diameter of the semicircle as 14. So we use the formula again. The circumference of a semicircle will be half pi times the diameter, which is 14. Again, 7 here is 1, 7. So you see that 2 will cancel 2. We have 22. So the distance of this curve is 22 meters. Alright, so let's incorporate that in our calculation. Okay, so you have plus 22 meter plus, then from this point to this point is what? 2 meter, plus from 2 to this point is 12 plus 12 meter, then coming down is what? 18. So you have plus 18 meter plus, then back to where we are coming from. If this is 12, this place will also be 12 since it's a what? A rectangle. So we have plus 12 meter. So finally, what's our answer? 2 plus 22 is 24. 24 plus 2 is 26. 26 plus 10, that's 36 plus 2, 38. 48 plus 8, which will give us 56. 66, 68. So we have 68 meter as our perimeter. So the major problem here is to get the parts that we are not given. So know the properties of a rectangle, that the opposite sides are equal, and know that a semicircle is half the circumference of a circle. So if you know these things, none of them should be too difficult for you to handle. So thank you for joining in. If you found this topic and this video interesting, share with your friends. Please always subscribe and hit the notification bell so you always be notified immediately have any video. Again, I like to say that the secret of mathematics is not just watching the teacher teach, but after teaching you go and practice some problems on your own. So you have your textbooks, open the textbooks and get down to business.